Bobby's in the way, so. But I can see your very muted picture.
Yeah, he's quiet. He's very quiet
It would look
tonight.
nice hanging out in front of your house.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Wethersfield Board of Education. Tonight is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. We are in the Town Hall chambers. Ellen, can we have roll call, please?
Yes, Chairman Carey. Good evening, everyone. Mrs. DeRoberts?
Here.
Mrs. Drew?
Here.
Mrs. Granado?
Present.
Mr. Healy? Mr. Lacavoli?
Here.
Dr. Regan Lefebvre?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Vice Chair Mr. Cassio?
Present.
Chairperson Mr. Carey?
Here.
Wethersfield High School Student Representative Mr. Ryan Fazina. All present.
Thank you. If we could stand and have all the retirees lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Emmett, student staff recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. Good evening, everyone. This is one of those events that I absolutely love, and this is one of those events that I absolutely loathe. It is an event where we bring forward our retiring staff members of the Wethersfield Public Schools to thank them and recognize them for their years of service. We celebrate what they have brought to this district and the impact that they've had on our students. At the same time, we say farewell to a tremendous amount of experience, very strong connections to students, very strong connections to families and community as well. So with that, I have several attendees this evening, upcoming retirees, who I would imagine may be counting down the days. And it's funny, as I have visited schools, it's one of the things that everybody's talked about, how fast it's gone. I've heard how fast it's gone. I heard this evening how much I'm savoring the time with my students and the time that I'm still in the classroom. And that's what makes it so good. So this evening I have the privilege of recognizing multiple retirees. When I call your name, if you could please come up, I have a brief biography. I definitely want to let the community know what our retirees are all about. So I'd like to start off with Mr. Scott Rio, the maestro. Come on up, Scott. It is my great pleasure to honor Mr. Scott Rio for his extraordinary years of service as the esteemed choral director at Wethersfield High School. For teaching over 2 decades in Wethersfield, Mr. Rio has dedicated himself to shaping the musical landscape of our school, inspiring countless students and instilling within them a passion for choral music. His unwavering commitment, unparalleled talent, and infectious enthusiasm have left an indelible mark on the lives of those fortunate enough to have crossed paths with him. Under Mr. Rio's guidance, the choral program at Wethersfield High School has thrived, achieved remarkable feats, and garnering numerous accolades. His exceptional ability to connect with students and nurture their musical talents has resulted in breathtaking performances that have captivated audiences, from the choral concerts to the musicals and to their annual appearance on local news. Mr. Rio's unwavering dedication to his students' growth and development, coupled with his relentless pursuit of excellence, has created an environment where young voices flourish, confidence soars, and the love for music is fostered. His tireless efforts have not only elevated the choral program, but have also positively influenced the overall artistic fabric of our school community. As we bid farewell to Mr. Scott Rio, we extend our deepest gratitude for his invaluable contributions to the choral program at Wethersfield High School. His passion, his skill, and unwavering commitment have not only shaped countless lives, but have also enriched our community as a whole. We are profoundly grateful for his years of service and wish him all the best in his future endeavors. May his legacy continue to inspire generations of students to discover the power and the beauty of choral music. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Rio. Just a shameless plug, there will be a choral concert this evening at Weathersfield High School. What time, Scott?
Thursday evening at 6:30.
Thursday evening, 6:30, Weathersfield High School Auditorium. Please plan to attend. If I could please have Miss Doris Duggins come forward. All right. There is only so much we can say about the one, the only, the Weathersfield educating legend, Doris Duggins. If she were presenting this information to you, she'd probably be singing it just as she sang part of her Teacher of the Year speech. It would be punctuated by her infectious laugh, smooth dance moves, raising the roof, and a couple of resounding This gives you a sense of the pure joy and energy that Doris has shared with our Weathersfield community as a social studies teacher, and so much more. First at Silas Dean Middle School, and for the last 15 years at Weathersfield High School. The only thing bigger and more special than Doris's personality is the impact she has had on our Weathersfield community as a teacher, a mentor, and an advisor. As mentioned before, she is a past Teacher of the Year recipient, and this year received a peer award. And yes, we're getting that repaired. No worries. We had an unfortunate peer award accident, so we're getting that replaced. She is an advocate and a champion for our students and community through her work on the WHS Equity Team, the Weathersfield Steering Committee, the Social Justice Coalition, as a founding member of the BIPOC Affinity Group, and as the advisor to Brothers and Sisters United. Retirement will afford Doris the opportunity to expand her business as a numismatist. Got that right. Very good. And she also hopes to work as an educational consultant and write a few books. Retirement will allow her to spend more time collecting autograph books, and one of her prized possessions is Little Rock's 9 Melba Patillo Beals signed memoir, Warriors Don't Cry. Not only did she meet Mrs. Beals, but this past summer walked the same steps and touched the same door handle as the Little Rock 9. She will also get to pursue her love of traveling and will be happy to fly on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and not have to worry about those personal days, right? And hopefully to the 10 states she has not yet been to. She has been on several mission trips to Haiti with her church, South Church, where she volunteers as a Sunday school teacher, deacon, and co-coordinator of the Haiti mission trips. Next year, she plans to go to Uganda, and on the 28th of June, she will finally get to travel to South Africa. What a retirement gift. Without a shadow of a doubt, her favorite place to travel is to see her beloved family in Colorado, where her 2 sons, 5 grandchildren, 89-year-old mother, and 97-year-old father live.
Go Nuggets!
And to Florida to see her daughter. She can't wait to spend more time with her loving husband, Mark, and may finally give in and play golf with him.
Yes, I might.
Although a teacher will take her place, there is simply no replacing Doris Duggins. In our building, in our district, or in our hearts. Her incredible impact will resonate forever through the thousands of lives that she has touched in what was a beautiful and remarkable career for the Weathersfield Public Schools. Doris Duggins, congratulations and thank you. If I could please have Miss Joanne Norris come forward. If you have any questions about plants that aren't growing well, plants that really aren't looking that good, Joanne Norris was your go-to person, okay? Joanne is retiring after 28 years of teaching botany, biology, and environmental science at Weathersfield High School. After many years working as a horticulturalist, Joanne transitioned to a career in education because she wanted to share her passion for plants in a more meaningful way. In speaking to Joanne about her years of teaching at WHS, she shared a story about seeing a former student recently in her local gym. The student described an essential question proposed by Joanne to her botany class about why plants grown in a greenhouse are not as healthy as plants grown outside. The question had made such an impact on the student that it became the central focus of her graduate school thesis. Joanne's ability to ask questions like this to promote high-level thinking and a genuine wondering is one of her greatest attributes in how she sparks an interest in science with her students. We will miss seeing Joanne in the science department in the hallway carrying her plants as she often moves them from home to school depending upon the season, and in her generosity in growing seasonal plants for our WHS community. We are grateful to Joanne for her years of service, and we wish her well as she looks forward to retirement and more time in her garden. And again, our friend Joanne Norris, for those that may not know, is an accomplished bowler. We had the opportunity to bowl at an event, and Joanne did an excellent job. So
You were on the same team. so-
yes, and I believe we won. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Ms. Joanne Norris. We have one additional retiree from the high school who couldn't be with us this evening, but I do want to recognize this gentleman, and he is just that, a true gentleman. I'd like to recognize Mr. Carl Meerman.
He just left.
Carl has been an important member of the WHS English department for almost 2 decades. He began as a long-term building sub as he worked towards his English certification. Carl has helped with the creation of the course Film as Literature, and he has been a teacher of freshmen for many years. Hazard pay there, Carl. With a classroom full of musical posters, Mr. Meerman plays a classic tune for the department to listen to both before and after school. His days of DJing have given him great taste in music. Carl Meerman will truly be missed by all the members of his department. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating Mr. Carl Meerman. All right. If I could please have Miss Nancy Byrne come forward. You've finally gotten to that place. We talked about it like spring of last year, and here it is. Weathersfield Public Schools hired Nancy Byrne in August of 1990. She began her career at Hanmer teaching 6th grade. After 14 years, Nancy was transferred to Highcrest Elementary School. She's taught 21 years of 5th and 6th grade at Highcrest. The minute she stepped into Highcrest, her smile could be felt immediately by the students and staff. She is known for her passion for reading and grammar skills, and you can always find Nancy engaging in a read aloud to her class or sitting next to a student reading a book. Nancy has led the cheer committee for many years, and her paper and pencil checkbook has kept us all in line at Highcrest Elementary School. Nancy will be greatly missed by the Highcrest students, family, and staff. A little birdie told me that Nancy may be interested in subbing at Highcrest next year. So, Nancy, we'd love to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nancy Byrne. If I could please have Miss Sue Kopecki come forward. Sue Kopecki has been a well-known name in Weathersfield in our community since 1985. She has taught hundreds of children in her career at Charles Wright, Hanmer, and Highcrest. Sue has worked at Highcrest since 2004. She is known for her art lessons that build cultural connections and awareness. She embeds her knowledge from international travels into the walls of her classroom and into the student-created art projects that are hanging on those walls. Sue is known for her expertise on grant writing. Sue has gotten many grants over the course of the years, and we thank you for that, Sue. We are grateful to have had Sue as a part of our Unified Arts team in the Weathersfield Public Schools, and we wish Sue great success in her future travels. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Sue Kopecki.
So good to see you. Good enough.
And if I could please have Miss Pamela Jones come forward. The Emerson Williams School community would like to recognize Miss Pamela Jones on her retirement from the Wethersfield Public Schools. Pamela has spent all 26 of her teaching years at Emerson Williams. She is an EW Tiger through and through. She spent 1 year teaching grade 2 and all other years teaching grade 1. Pam has been recognized and honored multiple times over the years for her outstanding contributions to both our school and our district. She's received multiple peer awards, an EW Teacher of the Year award, and has been nominated for District Teacher of the Year. Pam is very highly respected by her students, her colleagues, and the Emerson Williams parent community. Pam's contributions to our district priority number 3 of equity has been huge. Pam is an important member of the Emerson Williams equity team and leadership team. She is on the steering committee of the Wethersfield Social Justice Coalition. She is also a co-facilitator for Wethersfield Staff BIPOC Affinity Group. She's an advisor of the Emerson Williams Grade 6 BIPOC Focus Group. She has presented at multiple staff meetings and diversity conferences. Pam is also a team mentor and has worked with numerous student teachers over the year. As a matter of fact, Pam was also one of our original teacher resident program mentors. She's accomplished these goals tenfold, and that in turn has helped her students to excel at very high levels of academic performance. Pam, you will be so greatly missed at Emerson Williams and all throughout this school district. We all wish you a happy retirement. It is very well deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Jones. If I could please have Deborah Byrne come forward. It seems like it's 2008 again when I just started as Director of Special Services and had the opportunity to meet you. And here we are, all these years later. So Emerson Williams and the school community would like to proudly recognize Mrs. Deborah Byrne on her retirement from the Wethersfield Public Schools. Deb is retiring after 36 years of being an outstanding special education teacher. Before coming to teach in Wethersfield, Deb spent 9 years at the DCF Long Lane School in Middletown, working with high school students. Deb has spent the past 27 years in Wethersfield. She spent 9 years working in the alternate day program at Wethersfield High School, and then spent 7 years as a SPED resource teacher at Wethersfield High School. While working at Wethersfield High School, Deb was also a coach. She coached field hockey and softball. The Emerson Williams staff is thrilled that she has spent her last 11 years as a special education teacher at EW, working with students in grades 4 through 6. Deb forms amazing relationships with her students. It is so clear that she truly enjoys being with them and she respects them so much. And they benefit from her love and support. Deb is going to miss her students tremendously. She loves watching them grow both academically and socially, and she takes great pride in the important role she plays in their lives. Deb, we at Emerson Williams and in the Wethersfield community wish you a very happy retirement. Thank you for sincerely doing everything you can for our students in Wethersfield. Ladies and gentlemen, Deb Byrne. If I could please have Miss Raleigh Stewart come forward. Raleigh, that drew a gasp from the board. It is an honor to recognize Raleigh Stewart for her dedicated years of service to the students, families, and staff at Charles Wright School. Raleigh's animated voice can be heard from the halls surrounding the library, where she can be seen reading to our students, helping them find books, or connecting them to other books where she has provided them an activity to read. Mrs. Stewart is a treasure for students, as is the world of books that she opens. Raleigh goes above and beyond to ensure that our students hear the best literature available to them. They find the best book that interests them and inspires them to read it expressively. The Charles Wright staff is indebted to Mrs. Stewart for her years of lamination services. Very important, very important. Rebinding books and pulling books for them that are tied to their classroom instruction. As a school where we are indebted for the countless bulletin boards and themes that she supports in them linked to her books, our SEL programming, and our children's future. We will miss our colleague and friend who has given so much with unending dedication to our students and our school family. Congratulations, Ms. Raleigh Stewart. Congratulations.
She's great.
I do have one additional retiree I'd like to share with you who's not in attendance with us this evening, but would like to recognize and congratulate Miss Deb Fidium from Webb Elementary School, who will be retiring next month. Deb is a Wethersfield teaching legend. She started her teaching career in Virginia before coming to Connecticut. Ms. Fidium began her career working with students with hearing impairments at the American School for the Deaf, Clark School for the Deaf, and Soundbridge. In 2002, Deb was officially hired by the Wethersfield Public Schools as a classroom teacher at Emerson Williams, Highcrest, and then Webb Elementary School. Ms. Fidium has been a fifth grade teacher at Webb since 2014. Deb has been cherished by Webb students, families, and colleagues alike. She is an expert at creating tight-knit classroom communities where all students and families feel valued and heard. She lovingly refers to all of her students as honey bubbles, a title that students keep long after leaving the fifth grade classroom. In her retirement, Mrs. Fidium is looking forward to playing golf, hiking, and spending more time with her 3 beloved grandsons. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Deborah Fidium. As I wrap up this evening with staff student recognition, I do want to recognize that we had several mid-year retirees who had retired earlier in the year. I do want to recognize them as well. From Wethersfield High School Assistant Principal Rosalind Bannon. From the Wethersfield Transition Academy, Miss Tracy Belenda. Wethersfield High School Computer Lab Assistant Gail Griffin. Silas Deane Middle School Paraeducator Elizabeth Matika. Silas Deane Middle School Administrative Secretary Helen Palazzo. Silas Deane Middle School Security Guard David Sicente. Silas Deane Middle School School Counselor Sheila Solinger. Charles Wright Administrative Secretary Elaine Strecker. And last but not least, Silas Deane Middle School Paraeducator Cindy Tremblay. Congratulations to all of our retirees, and thank you all for everything that you've done.
Any board members with comments? Ms. Granado?
Congratulations, everyone. I kind of did a couple of there because it seems like I just saw you yesterday and yet we're all retired. So congratulations. You miss it terribly, but it's an amazing world out there that you still have a lot of energy for. So the best to all of you. Congratulations.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes, congratulations. We've had some wonderful memories of Mr. Rio and Mrs. Kopecki in particular. Our dining room, when our children went to Highcrest, was transformed into an art gallery, and all the guests were so impressed and enjoyed the artwork and just said, it's not like cute kitty art. This is real learning. This is a real art education. They could see that come through the work. My children certainly, they did not continue with art, but it was just so clear and obvious that they got a good start in it in those early years. And Mr. Rio, I know my daughter thoroughly enjoyed high school, and even after knowing you, just being a part of all of the theater people and the music people, and it was a really, really wonderful experience for an otherwise, I don't think shy is the right word, but for somebody who really needed to connect with people, well, with grown-ups. So thank you. Thank you both. Yes, now she is, yes. That's how much of an impression you made. So thank you, all of you, but in particular, the two of you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Cassio.
Thank you. Bravo to all of you. It's hard to believe you are old enough to retire. As I'm still sitting here. Thank you so much for all that you've done for our children, for our district. I had the pleasure to know all of you. You've touched our family's lives throughout the generation. And what can I say? Sue, we still have art projects in our trunk that we did for our daughter. And so I think they come out once in a while. But thank you. You've really made a lot to our fabric of our district, and you'll be sorely missed. Pam, I can't believe you're old enough to retire. I'm shocked. But thank you. Thank you all for putting up with a very difficult time. You made it, and you made it for the best we could. And now we're on the best road that we can be, and it's behind us. Deb Burns, I remember playing softball. It's crazy at Webb. So I wish you the best, all of you. Congratulations and bravo for a job well done and a career that you will never forget. Thank you.
Any other board members? Yes, Mr. Lakavoli.
I was going to use board comment tonight to harp on the budget, but there's no way that I'm going to rain on this parade. So I just wanted to say thank you all, the retiring teachers, for your contribution to the Wethersfield Public School System, but not only for your contributions to the school system, but society in general. Teachers contribute tremendously to the fabric of a school system, but also to towns, states, countries, and just society overall. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Regan Lefebvre.
I will echo exactly what Matt said, which is that I won't rain on this parade because it is beautiful, and it might actually rain on the parade on Saturday. We hope not. But thank you all for your service, and I'm going to counter what Bobby said. Maybe you will miss it, but my own mother retired last June from 30 years of teaching, and she says it's amazing. So I hope you cherish the memories, but I hope you're really, really happy and have no regrets. And thank you for all you've done, and also for what you've done to train other teachers. I know a number of you have done a lot of had student teachers in your classrooms, have mentored other teachers. So your legacy continues not just in your students, but also in current teachers within Wethersfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members? Mr. Riley.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your service. I know a bunch of my kids have been taught by many of the teachers out there. My wife is a teacher, so very much appreciated your efforts, and congratulations.
Mr. Emmett.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the large number of family members we have here in attendance this evening. As the husband of a kindergarten teacher, I know firsthand the number of late nights spent laminating or cutting things, and I know that your husbands or wives were away a lot, and I know that it was a huge sacrifice for you as well. So I just want to recognize all of our family members and say thank you. Thank you for sharing your family members with us and allowing them to make a big impact on the Wethersfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Congratulations, everyone. Ms. Norris, I can't believe you're old enough to retire. I think I was a senior when you started, so that makes me feel really old. But congratulations to everyone. Thank you for all your dedication to our students and our community. You guys can go now.
mom's retiring at the end of this year. 17 days.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll give them a second to exit. Mr. Lacavulli, don't worry, you didn't miss your opportunity. Board comment. Any board, Mr. Roberts?
Earlier, well, last week I attended one of the active aggressor training periods at Silas Dean from 3:15. It was scheduled from 3:15 to 6:15. It didn't last quite that long. It was, I hesitated to go because it's a very disturbing thought, but once I was there, I realized that the more training people have, the less anxious they might actually feel, including the students, if they know really well what they're supposed to do. And the teachers who were there on a voluntary basis. They could really use the actual in-school PD time, and it's certainly a valuable, it's valuable time. It's something really important. It's a matter of everybody's safety. The chances, statistically, I don't know if it was Mike who had said this, of anything happening in any particular school is like pretty much close to zero. But even so, people hear things on the news, and children do too, and I think it can actually empower that the children and the teachers if they are well practiced in what they need to do. Also, I came from the AP art show at the high school this evening. If you have a chance until June 6th, I don't want to go back to January, it's amazing. The thinking and the work that goes into this exhibit is amazing. It's today the art show at the Keeney Center was taken down, but I hope everybody got to see that. That was pretty impressive also.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make board comment? I'll get it. Granato.
Okay. Well, I have a couple comments here. On Saturday, May 13th, I continued my Weathersfield Broadway series with an outstanding performance of Matilda at the Webb Elementary School. Sponsored by the Keene Foundation, directed by Cindy Lesser, the 5th and 6th grades, high school student partners, teachers, and Principal Ken Craig put on a remarkable performance. The packed audience of parents, grandparents, family, friends enjoyed watching our very talented students act, sing, and dance with composure and confidence. It was an A+ accomplishment. And then on Monday, May 15th, the Keene Foundation and Unico held their annual and a must-attend golf tournament. Both groups generously give of their time and effort to put on many fundraisers to give our Weathersfield students scholarships and enriching curriculum. My thanks to all who know the value of supporting our schools. And to continue with all who know the value of supporting our students, the Weathersfield Education Foundation met on Wednesday, May 17th. This very motivated group works to enhance and enrich our school's curriculum. Certificates are going out now to notify them of foundation grant monies, which will be arriving soon for their exciting 23-24 school year classroom projects. And also, the Weathersfield Education Foundation fundraiser, Junk in Your Trunk, will be held on Sunday, June 11th from 9 to 2. It's a community tag sale and vendor fair at the DMV parking lot. Please see the website for online registration for vendors and for junky trunks. The foundation has raised $1,000 from Porch Fest, earmarked for our school's musical instruments, and author Pablo Cataya was at the Silas Dean Middle School on May 17th. The event is put on through a partnership of the foundation and AT&T, using grant money for reading and computer literacy. You know, it's truly an amazing Weathersfield community of volunteers that works with passion and perseverance to provide our students with enriching skills to guide them into being capable 21st century learners. So I would be remiss if I did not comment on the town council individuals who found it necessary to cut the Weathersfield Public School budget by a huge $1.5 million. There is now a stunning difference between those volunteers I spoke of tonight who know what our young citizens have gone through with COVID, yet they continue to volunteer tirelessly for our kids to succeed. These incredible townspeople and our Weathersfield personnel, public school personnel, are always willing to go above and beyond to provide our students with the skills to be highly educated people. What a stunning difference from the 5 Weathersfield Town Council people who last week showed little foresight for our schools, showed little value for our students now and for their future, and for all of us showed little understanding of what makes our real estate valuable. It's our schools. So the difference is becoming too stunning to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Riley?
Thank you. I would also like to echo my thoughts that I'm very disappointed in the decrease budget for the Board of Ed, cutting it from 5.85 to 3.33. And again, I think as everyone is aware, the basically salaries and benefits every year go up 3%, so that leaves little else for anything. I did want to mention a few other things. I did attend the Emerson Williams Someone Special Dance. It really wasn't much of a dance. It was just me chasing my daughter all over the floor, trying to make sure she didn't get lost. I also attended the band trip from May 11th through the 15th. The band and orchestra performed in Orlando, Florida. Everyone went out to the theme parks as well. It was a great trip for the students and the chaperones. And, special thanks to Michael Bowles, Siobhan O'Connor, Mike Maltese, and Katie McLean. And when I went on this trip, I was really, curious as to, how it would work. And it's basically seamless. Everything is planned for. It went very well. And I think at the end, for myself, it really made me proud to be a parent and a board member. Everything was just so seamless. So it was a great trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Lacavoli.
Okay, so I guess now that we're done celebrating all of the teachers' retirements, I can rain on this parade now. I don't speak that often when I'm up here, but maybe that will show how much I'm bothered by this, the recent budget cut. The town council cut our budget. We wanted 5.85%. We're not getting 5.85%. It's not going to allow us to do a lot of the things that we want to do. And when I say we, I'm talking about all of the people whose thoughts and ideas went into that budget. It wasn't just us up here. It wasn't just the superintendent. It was from the bottom on up. We heard from so many people throughout budget season to put our ideas forth for what we wanted for the public schools in Weathersfield. We didn't just sit around a table and throw darts at a wall, and we went with those ideas. No, we heard from a lot of people. The budget, it was sort of like a democracy. There was a lot of input. Touching on democracy, we live in a democracy. There's elections often. Hopefully, in November, we can get a town council elected to the Weathersfield Town Council that will respect the Board of Ed and respect the Weathersfield public school system. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Regan Lefebvre.
Thank you. There is an event coming up that I encourage you all to consider taking part in, which is the Keene Foundation's 22nd annual 5K walk run. I intend to attempt to run this with the Hanmer Running Club, which was a little bit more like the Hanmer Sitting and Walking Club last week. but they're going to get ready and they're going to do a great job. This is really fun, and it's another example of what Bobby Granato pointed out, that we have so many wonderful volunteers in our community who come together to support our students and our schools. And with that, I will echo my colleagues that I am so disappointed and angry at what the town council has done with the Board of Ed's budget. I want to particularly thank my colleagues Charles Carey and Amanda Drew for their leadership on the budget. It was a very modest and lean budget. It was an essential budget, and it is very frustrating that when the board put together a really good, completely bipartisan budget, that it wasn't respected or accepted by the town council. So this is really, really disappointing, and our kids are going to suffer as a result. You know, effectively, this is like having cuts. Because it means that we can't do a lot of the things that we've identified as really important to have modern, functioning, healthy schools. So it's extremely frustrating, and I urge, you know, the residents of Wethersfield to continue to make their views heard, because I know that our community values its schools, and they should.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Drew.
So I'm actually going to echo Jennifer. So I am upset in regards to this budget. I actually attended the town council meeting, and I was able to sit and listen to some of the town council members and their decision. I found that some of the comments to be uneducated and ill-informed, and I'm very disappointed in the decisions that they made, and it's going to be a very tough road for us. And I'm very sad that having children in the school system, that they're going to have to suffer because of their inability to lead. But on a positive note, I would like to remind everybody that there's a chorus concert for the high school on Thursday at 6:30. The outdoor track had a banquet. They have 173 athletes. It was a fantastic night. There are 27 seniors that are graduating, and in fact, one of the seniors has been invited, I believe, to compete in the national level in Eugene, Oregon. And the CCC championship meet is tonight, and they have the potential currently to actually win the championship. So go Eagles, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Cassio.
Thank you, Chuck. Echo my colleagues, but more importantly, I think the community needs to understand that this particular board, the team, the principals, the administration, didn't look short-term. This budget was built on long-term decisions, situations that we were not funded in prior years. We were doing catch-up. We were trying to deliver and give what our district needs to function. And I think that the difficulty was this disconnect that they didn't seem to understand what we were trying to do. Our budgets are open to the public, the community was invited, and I think that certainly showed the lack of interest for individuals to come and listen. So I think the whole disconnect from the town council was pretty much seen when they voted to reduce the budget allotment to the Board of Ed. So our long-term thinking for the district, for Wethersfield, not just the schools, but critically looking at what we needed, was short-sighted and not given even a thought. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and not worry, because it's always going to come back and hurt you. And I think this particular decision was something that was not really thought out. So with that, I feel badly for the community and the long-term effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cassio. Any other board members? I think we hit everyone but me. So just so the public is aware, tonight we had a finance meeting before this meeting. We've decided we're going to have a budget workshop in the next 3 weeks before the next board meeting, so now the rest of the board knows that. And things that were discussed in our finance meeting were cutting the Strive program from the elementary school to save money, collapsing some classes and to reduce teachers to save money, looking at freshman sports, looking at other types of sports. There's lots of discussions going out there. This budget cut of 1.5 million is going to go deep. It's not an easy cut, and the board has a lot of work ahead of themselves. So the public is always welcome to our special meetings. There will be no public comment, but you can always come and listen. But that's all I want to add. Moving on to a motion. Do we have a motion to approve the May 9th, 2023 meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Thank you. Any comments or discussions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, no, don't take my eye there. Opposed? Abstention? I abstain. Ellen?
So noted.
Thank you. Motion carries. Public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to make comment, please step to the podium, state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes. Seeing no public comment is closed. Communications, Mr. Emmett.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. Good evening again, everyone. I just want to make sure I get the message out that the last day of school for the 22-23 school year will be Wednesday, June 14th. This will be a minimum day. We had a grand total of 1 snow day this year, which I think is the fewest number of snow days I've had to call since I became superintendent. So it was a pretty mild year. I will say that the time period between now and the end of the school year is a very busy one, so parents, please continue to stay tuned to Parent Square for updates with regard to step-up ceremonies, field days, academic awards, choral performances, sports banquets. There's all kinds of things going on here in the community. A couple of things happening this Saturday. Obviously, we will gather for the Memorial Day Parade coming up on Saturday morning. Very much looking forward to that. We also have the senior prom this weekend. That will be Saturday evening at the AquaTurf in Southington. As you know, tradition in Weathersfield is everyone gathers on the green, usually around between 5 and 6 o'clock before they go off to prom. So if you're in the area, please stop down. Again, just to reiterate some of the things that were talked about with the budget, we began in earnest the seemingly annual task of trying to figure out how to do more with less. Some of the things that I can tell you up front, as John had mentioned, it being long-term, one of the things right up front we're looking at is we've eliminated the idea of a 5-year commitment to the new illustrative math that you approved at the last board meeting. Here's the implication of that. It will save us next year, it'll save us $310,000. However, in next year's budget, I can tell you right now, I will have a placeholder of $140,000 to buy math materials next year. The year after, another $140,000, and if inflation plays out, it'll probably be more, closer to $150,000. And we'll repeat that down the road. One of the other things that we will eliminate is we will eliminate the $100,000 for computers. What we do with that is we just simply kick it down the road. The IT team decided to do this over the course of several years to lessen the burden. So next year you'll get that $100,000 we didn't get this year, plus the remaining units that we have to replace. And next year, it's another one of those deals where it's not a nice to have, it's a have to have, because the operating systems will no longer be feasible, and we will run the significant risk of hacking and cyber attacks. So that's the reality. Obviously, from a perspective of the positions, right now, all of the new positions are not in next year's budget. I still have the unenviable task of figuring out how I am going to provide services for between 19 and 21 students at the high school in the ALS program. Hence, that's one of the reasons why we're looking at closing the Strive program to reallocate the staff up to the high school. So these are the machinations that we're going to have to go through to get to the point where we make this budget whole. And we certainly want to try and avoid doing things that directly impact kids. But the reality is this: it's going to impact kids. It's inevitable. So as Mr. Carey said, we talked tonight about setting up a budget workshop. I've had meetings with principals over the course of the past 2 days. We are still looking at the potential of some retirement savings. We have some potential resignations that may be coming through. Actually, this evening, you see a motion before you to rescind the non-renewals. Please note that there are not as many non-renewals to rescind as there were when we came together last month, and that's the result of several resignations, so these may be positions that we don't fill, hence class sizes may in fact go up. So that's the reality we're facing here. So we'll continue to do the work, and again, I would say, you know, a heartfelt thank you to the Board of Education for your bipartisan support with this. I'd also like to thank my administrative team, who has thought outside of the box again and again to try and come up with ways to make things work. So they will continue to do the tireless work to make sure that when we approve the budget, you approve the budget at the June 13th meeting, that we are as whole as we can possibly be. And with that, that's communications. Thank you, Mr. Carey.
Thank you. Moving on to action items. Ms. Drew, I believe you have a motion for us.
Yes, I move that the Weathersfield Board of Education rescind the action taken on April 25th, 2023 regarding the non-renewal notices of the following 64 non-tenured teacher ID numbers: 906-475, 906-676, 906-681, 906-666, 906-823, 906-683, 906-812, 906-828, 906-721, 906-339, 906-799, 906-673, 906-678, 906-567, 906-682, 906-834, 906-548, 906-818, 906-373, 905-796, 906-546, 906-533, 905-266, 906-693, 906-433, 906-513, 906-679, 906-878, 906-813, 906-602, 906-716, 906-691, 906-541, 905-558, 906-816, 906-545, 906-687, 906-805, 906-734, 906-601, 906-147, 906-606, 906-804, 906-675, 906-706, 906-529, 906-891, 906-641, 906-822, 906-890, 906-623, 906-684, 906-811, 906-794, 906-449, 906-837, 906-674, 906-841, 906-711, 906-831, 906-715, 906-609, 906-806, and 906-677. I'm getting a drink.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Seeing none with a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We have another motion, Mr. Cassio.
Yes, thank you, Chuck. I do have a motion in front of me, and this is prompted due when the referendum failed, this last voting. So the background in this motion, just want to share with the community, is that the facilities conditions assessment objectives is to update the analysis of our physical condition of our 5 elementary schools in Weathersfield in order to make recommendation for future school improvement projects as part of the elementary school master plan. So with that being said, something has to be done. So we have a motion in front of us. I move that the Weathersfield Board of Education authorize the superintendent to proceed with a contract for facilities conditions assessment services with Colliers International.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Emmett, discussion.
Yeah, at this point in time, we went out for RFP after the referendum failed. I was certainly charged by the board with moving forward, and when you take a look at the condition of our buildings, you can see that we continue to need to move forward. So at this point in time, our original facilities assessment dates all the way back to the fall of 2018, so we need to take a look at, update what that facilities plan is all about. We received a total of 2 bids. We received a bid from Colliers, and we received a bid from Bureau Veritas. Myself, along with business manager Matt Kazaka, Mr. Carey, and Ms. Drew, reviewed both bids. The Bureau Veritas bid came in lower than the Colliers. We went about doing due diligence, and we did reference checks. And we found that with Bureau Veritas, there were some concerns with regard to performance and ability to deliver in a timely fashion, and results were neutral to negative. As such, looking to get the lowest and most responsible bid, we felt that the Colliers bid was the most responsible bid, and hence it is before you this evening.
Thank you. So essentially, we're back to square one, correct?
That's correct.
So, just so the public is aware, we're back to what we started in 2018. Any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Yes, Mr. Cassio?
This is one of those things where we try to look to the future. We can honestly say that maybe we bit off too much before we got further, but this was prior to COVID. This was something that we worked on as a Board of Ed prior to COVID. COVID appeared, and the whole world seemed to fall apart. Well, our schools are falling apart, and this is something that we really need to focus on. And this is for, once again, not for the schools, but for Wethersfield. If we keep that in mind, this is for Wethersfield, your students, the future, the buildings. The buildings are used not just for students, but they are used daily for outside groups. So it's a facility, it's a function, it's an educational institution. So I'm in favor of this motion, and I hope my colleagues will also be in favor of it.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts?
As a member of the Facilities and Maintenance Committee, I'm wondering if our work will start again, like immediately.
Well, we're hopeful that it will. Those are going to be the next steps. Once this gets approved and we go out to contact Collier, we as a committee will have to do our due diligence all over again.
Okay, and I have other questions, but maybe those would be better in the committee.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Dr. Regan Lefebvre.
Well, it's very disappointing to feel like we're back where we started in 2018, which is before many of us were even here. I do appreciate the due diligence that the subcommittee has done on this, and I also appreciate how Matthew Kanzaka, our business manager, has been able to negotiate down the fee as shown in the letter that has been distributed to board members. So I want the public to know that although this represents a cost, we have to spend money on this, and that's frustrating, that you have done your best to keep that cost low.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, with a motion on the table, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Announcements and information, please check your packet, board members. If you have a committee meeting and you can't attend, please make sure you let the committee chair or Mr. Emmett know. Please be on the lookout for an email from Dio for budget workshops, and please answer in a timely manner so we can make sure we get that set before the next board meeting. Our hope is to have a vote at the next board meeting on our budget. Meetings held. Mr. Cassio, the Memorial Day Parade on 5/10/23.
Yes, we had our meeting on 5/10. It's coming up this Saturday, and it's not going to rain. It's, let me tell you, we've been very lucky. The forecast looks good. The rain is going to stay to our south. So those people living in the Carolinas thinking they're going to be on vacation, guess what? It's going to rain all weekend on you. So,
Good people calling them.
but anyways, the committee met. We got ourselves put together, and also 2 individuals were selected to the recipients to be the essay winners for this year's Memorial Day Parade. And we are very pleased to announce to you that we have 2 young students, 8th graders. The entire school district in Weathersfield, as well as Corpus Christi School, were involved with this. And this is honoring our greatest generation. So we have one individual selected, Julia Young, who is a Corpus Christi School 8th grader, and Sylvia Lynn, who is an 8th grade student from Silas T. Middle School. Both of these individuals will be reading their essays at the cemetery, and I think that you'll be very excited and amazed what these young individuals can put together. Thank you.
Thank you. Student Programs and Services on 5/16/23, Mr. Healy indicated he will talk about that at board comment next meeting. Correct Council, 5/17/23.
Okay. The Correct Council had their annual meeting on Wednesday, May 17th, and the Correct Council is the Capital Region Education Council, of which Weathersfield is a member, along with 35 other surrounding towns, and the council is responsible for the regional magnet schools and Project Choice, and they have also organized and run the Hartford Head Start. The meeting started with a vote on a consent agenda, followed by a nominating committee report. So the correct officers for the 23-24 school year are Chairperson Tyrone Harris from East Hartford, Vice Chairs Kim Oliver from Hartford, and Secretary Treasurers Meg Scata from Portland. Our outgoing chair, Lydia Tadone, gave welcoming remarks to all and thanked everyone for their dedication to CREC. Greg Florio was the presenter of special recognitions and scholarships. Scholarships were given for overcoming adversity to senior students as they move on to higher education. Also, scholarships were presented to open choice students. Glad to see that this is happening for our young and accomplished choice students. Greg then did a visual presentation of the year in review called Find Your Why. This is a tribute to the teachers who work for CREC. Greg also spoke of the focus of bringing down the barriers of racism. Greg is working and focusing on the bill before the General Assembly, 5003, which is the education bill that will fund CREC without participating schools giving to tuition. This is a transformative bill for Connecticut school funding. It would allow for the magnet schools, public, choice, charter, and vocational schools to be funded with a significant savings to individual public school districts. So the meeting ended with wishes for a relaxing summer, wishes for the 5003 bill passing, and for CREC and participating districts to continue working together. And any questions, please refer to the CREC website for info. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Granado. Finance and Operations Committee meeting on 5/23/23. Ms. Drew.
Well, I think a lot of it has already been discussed, so I look forward to discussing it more in regards to the budget, but I just wanted to let everybody know that the boys placed second for the CCC championship, so we're still waiting for the girls. So, go Eagles.
Thank you. Meeting scheduled, the Weathersfield Early Childhood Collaborative, WEC 6/12/23 at 4:30. The Memorial Day Parade on 6/14/23 at 7 p.m. The CREC Council meeting on 6/21/23 at 11:30 a.m. And the Finance and Operations Committee meeting on 6/27/23 at 6 p.m. There is no unfinished business. Public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to make comment, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes. Public comment is now closed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Everyone have a great night. We'll see everyone at graduation.
Thank
That is
you.
before the